It's October 3rd, 2024. I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich. I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich, and you can open it when the people come. I'm with Mr. John J. Jeckovich, and we're reading his book, Their Mother's Sons. It's approximately 900 pages, and we're on page 561 today, and this chapter is titled Courting Delphine. Courting Delphine. Mr. Jeckovich, on October 17th, 2 weeks away, will be 99 years old. Mr. Jeckovich, on October 17th, he was born in 1925. He'll be 99 years old in 2 weeks. So if you like, text Mr. Jeckovich any questions, text Mr. Jeckovich a birthday wish, text him anything you want, he'll respond. You can text to area code 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. Or as we say in the beautiful island of Defusky Island, South Carolina, text Mr. Jeckovich at 407-366-0000. 407-366-0000. So before I start reading today, Mr. Jeckovich, what's your dog?
20965.
Well, you're looking very chipper, shaved, and you got new clothes on.
Excellent clothes on.
You've had a
excellent clothes
you've
on.
had a hell of a lot of company these last 2 weeks.
Huh?
You've had a hell of a lot of company the last 2
Yeah.
weeks. How'd you like those little babies that came to visit you?
Oh, yeah.
Aren't they cute?
Cute kid, yeah.
Aren't they handsome?
Yeah.
Aren't they so?
Tom's got 9 of them.
Yeah, but aren't those kids so handsome and smart? Did you know the little boy knew nothing?
Yeah, you got to get that thing, but just start that thing up.
Yeah, that little and that little boy knew nothing about heavy-duty machine guns, but he knew it had to be water-cooled.
Yeah.
Those kids are very smart.
Yeah.
Very smart, and that was a pleasure for you seeing them, and they came a long ways to visit you.
Yeah.
That was so nice. It made your day. Then you have your friends Nancy coming over, and then you had Dalton coming over, and
Who is?
you had your friend Nancy coming over visiting on a regular basis. She's a very, very nice person, and then you had Dalton coming over visiting. You had a line of visitors, which is very nice.
Yeah.
And then every night you're still recording for an hour or two about your book. So it's a beautiful day. I don't think it gets any better than this. So, Mr. Jeckovich, before I start reading, did you want to make any comments about your little great-grandsons visiting you?
Oh, yeah, he's a cute little guy, yeah. You want to sit on my lap all the time.
Oh, yeah. And wasn't it like Christmas in October when they received all those gifts yesterday?
Yeah.
And then one little boy got a police uniform and he put it on like that.
Yeah.
I don't know how he could change so quickly, but he did. And then plus, he's learning magic. He really loves magic, so we're going to put on the top of the list to get him.
I don't know how he put that uniform on so fast.
I don't believe it. That was a lot of work.
I couldn't do that.
That was a lot of work.
Yeah.
And he put the tie on, the belt, the pants, the hat, the vest, everything, handcuffs. He put that on there so quickly. It was like a magic act in itself. It was like a magic act in itself. And he certainly does enjoy magic, so we're going to get him a lot more magic sets. Magic sets. So you have had a busy week, a very busy week, and you're looking well. And October 17th, 2024, you'll be 99, so you'll be knocking on the door of 100, which is a great task in itself. And Mr. Jeckovich is in perfect health. He reads the newspaper without glasses. He could squeeze your hand, knock you to the ground. He never took a prescription in his life, never took a vitamin. It's just amazing. We call him the super soldier. Yeah, he was shot up by a sniper. Shot up by a sniper. He's been bombed. He still has shrapnel in his body. Some of the bombs that hit these young soldiers during World War II.
Trench foot?
Trench foot, frostbite, stabbed, wounded. He's been beat up all different ways, and look at him. He's a super soldier. He's still here in great shape. But getting back to some of these bombs, the Nazis set off during World War II. Most of them were very deadly. Most of them you didn't survive. Mr. Jeckovich's right-hand man during the Battle of the Bulge was called Donald Lape. One of those bombs went off and took off his head, and just his glasses were hanging from one ear. And Mr. Jeckovich removed him, took one dog tag, and sent it home to Donald Lape's mother and father. Donald Lape's mother and father. As it turned out, Donald Lape's younger brother, for 25 years, lived next to Mr. Jeckovich, and Donald Lape's younger brother just passed away. We didn't know it. What a coincidence that his right-hand man, my right-hand machine gun man, his younger brother lived blocks away. We just didn't know. We only found out through an obituary, commenting about the older brother, Donald Lape, that died at 18 or 19 during the Battle of the Bulge. So right now we got a lot of great World War II vets. We started off with 16,400,000. Since then, 16,300,000 has died. Old age, disease, killed during the war, etc., etc. And so we have approximately 100,000 less. I think there's probably like 80 or 90,000 left. But the interesting part of it, there's less than 7,000 World War II combat vets. Mr. Jeckovich was a combat vet. There's only less than 7,000 left, and we're losing them at a rate of 150 a day. So do the math. So here's your opportunity to text a question, any type of question, and this real live World War II vet, combat vet, Purple Heart, 2 Bronze Stars, will ask it. And you ask it, he'll respond. You ask it, he'll respond. As simple as that. Is your book for sale, Mr. Jeckovich?
That?
Is your book for sale?
No, it's not for sale at all.
That book is never going to be for sale. It's about 900 pages. Mr. Jeckovich wrote it to tell a story about his life, World War II, Battle of the Bulge, his mother, his family. There was a original copy in the World War II Museum in New Orleans, and we're setting up a booth for Mr. Jeckovich, hopefully soon. Travel's a kind of a problem, but in the History Museum at World War II in New Orleans, and Mr. Jeckovich will have his own booth, you might say. It'll be on AI, so 5 years from now, 10 years from now, or 20 years from now, you can ask a question and some type of answer will be popping out. But here's the real deal. You can ask him now. Ask him now. Here's the reality right now. You could ask him right now, whatever you like. So just text him at 407-366-0000. He'll be 99 years old in 2 weeks. October 17th, 1925 he was born. So send a text. We'll love to read it. Sometimes we'll read it on air. We'll do our best to answer all. So we're reading your book, Their Mother's Sons. We're on chapter 19, page 561. And this is about courting Delphine. Courting Delphine. So here we go. I'm going to pick up where we left off the other day. I was much older now and realized I had to take control of my own life. My sense of responsibility to mother would always be there, but somehow I had to control it so it did not overpower my own life. As for the repercussions from mother, I would deal with them as they came up. I did not want her interfering in my decision making, even though I knew she would influence me. She would influence me. Oh, by the way, Mr. Jeckovich, being a World War II combat vet, he was from Company H, 2nd Battalion, 291st Regiment of the 75th Infantry Division. of the U.S. Army during World War II. He received, his division was affectionately called the Diaper Division, because most of the guys were 17, 18, 19 out of high school. And the interesting, what's that?
ASDP.
Yeah, an interesting thing, many young guys then were teenagers. They wanted to serve their country so badly. They wanted to serve their country so honorably. Many of them were 16 and they lied about their age, and they fought side by side with the 18 and 19-year-olds. Mr. Jeckovich lived by the motto then, he lives by the motto now. Yesterday is history, tomorrow is a mystery, and today is a gift. So, after we're talking about this chapter, we're courting Delphine, that's his future wife. They'll be married for 69 long years, and Mr. Jeckovich's wife, Delphine Stulak Jeckovich, just simply died approximately 4 years ago in the year of 2020 on August 14th. But you could also see we have a tribute. So if you'd back page some of the docu-series, you'd have a tribute to them. Hello, folks. Hello. That's all right. That's okay. Hello.
Oh,
Hello.
hi there.
Hello. I like those Yankees. Hello. And this was on the days that he finished the shift on Friday, looking forward to see Delphine once more. I thought of what we might do. The only thing I eliminated completely was going to the dance at the ballroom. I did not want to spend more time that evening with her friends, and I did not think she wanted to either. So you start going to the ballroom, the Delwood Ballroom, because Delphine always had her two friends there.
Yeah.
So you wanted to, get to know her better without her friends.
Yeah.
Yeah, that made a lot of sense. Did that idea work?
It worked there.
Okay. I had not realized when I talked to Delphine earlier in the week about meeting her that Saturday night, and that she mentioned she'd be working later than the usual 6 p.m. closing, in hopes of preventing a mix-up in her time to meet. I called her the next night, and she was out with her sister. She'd be home later that evening. I waited until after 10, and I was driving around to kill time. I thought about where she might possibly be, but dismissed it immediately as none of my business. The second call, I reached her, and for the first thing she said after greeting me was she had gone with Rosalie and Agnes to a retirement party for someone at work. I did not know why, but I felt relieved and quickly asked for clarification on their Saturday meeting. Yes, she would be working until 9 p.m. And where did Delphine work at again?
Grants, W.T. Grants.
W.T. Grants. Another casualty, a big department store bit the dust. Kmart, all of them are gone. Yes, she would be working until 9 p.m. and wanted me to meet her at the usual place at the rear of the store. I acknowledged her directions, and before I knew what I had said, I could hear the words coming forth from my mouth. I miss you and can't wait to see you again. I was a little embarrassed at my statement, but she only replied that she missed me also and would see me on Saturday. Her voice sounded pleasant and sincere, and there was none of the stiffness or formality which I had noticed the first time we talked on the phone.
Yeah.
So there's none of that.
So it opened up, yeah.
At first you thought Delphine was aloof, but later you found out she was shy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Let's see. I was early, almost an hour, and since I did not want to go into the store, I parked the car and walked about the various stores on Main Street. What kind of stores did they have in Main Street back
All
then?
kinds of department stores. Beautiful, beautiful Main Street. Yeah.
Beers,
Deers.
gents,
Jane Addams.
gents,
Jed's.
Sporting goods stores.
Was on the other side.
sporting goods stores.
Yeah, all good stores. All department stores.
Isn't it interesting how things have changed? When Mr. Jeckovich was in school, grammar school and high school, there was rifle clubs. There was shooting clubs in most schools.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't be unusual for a student to bring a gun or a shotgun and put it in his locker because there's shooting classes. Now you fast forward 80 years and boy, if you even brought a gun near school today, you'd probably be arrested.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. How things have changed so dramatically. Or when fathers had a little kid about 1 or 2 or 3, just to going around the block, he'd put the kid on his lap while he's driving, short, safe distance around the block. Boy, if you did that today, there again, you'd be arrested. So how times have changed, it seems like we lost a ton of our rights. It's just amazing. Okay. It was obvious that we were both delighted to see one another, as I was so taken over by the sight of her, and I blurted out how much I missed her and how delighted I was to see her once again. She smiled cordially, but said nothing directly. "Are you hungry?" I asked as I held the door for her into the car, viewing her skirt rise above the knees as she sat. She was dressed enchantingly with a dark brown skirt and tan blouse, and a small floral corsage attached to one side of her at her waist. Her legs were elegantly sheared in the sheer stockings. Her legs were elegantly sheathed in her sheer stockings, accented by brown high-heeled pumps, which augmented her trim ankles. She smiled and said she was a little hungry. "It's been a long day. How about another spaghetti dinner at the Red Devil?" Was the Red Devil a nice place?
That is a nice place, yeah. Checkered tablecloth on the table.
What kind of tablecloths?
Checkered.
Oh, wow. Like a full Italian bistro.
Yeah, yeah,
And is that what they specialize as, Italian food?
yeah.
And how was your spaghetti?
Spaghetti was good.
Yeah. I ventured knowing that she would be agreeable. That would be great. In moving a bit closer to me, I got a whiff of her tantalizing perfume she was wearing. She wore just the right amount to make and emphasize her sensuous lips and alluring eyes. I was captivated by her appearance, and slowly her personality and demeanor were enveloping my very being, something I had not felt since the time with Renee. As we waited for our dinner, we talked about her long day at work, and how she felt it would never end. She did not mention that she was looking forward to tonight. She did mention that she was looking forward to tonight, and it was a little jittery at the time came closer to us to meet. I then told her that I thought about going to Delwood without her, then asked what she thought of that prospect. She looked at me puzzled. Were you really thinking about going there? Fingering her glass of wine nervously and crossing her legs. No, I just said that teasing you. And I like to watch your expression when you get serious and a bit flustered. That's a good one. She moved about in her seat, crossing and uncrossing her legs, and I could see she did not care to put under the glare of personal feelings. As we talked, there was a rapid exchange of ideas and feelings, both spoken and alluded to. The exchange was natural and spontaneous, with no relinquishment of honesty or integrity. No matter what the outcome, I felt that Delphine was sincere and forthright in her convictions and sentiments, and that would never compromise her position or material or social gain. This was where she sat the last time we were here, she stated, and we began our meal. I complimented her on her keen observations, and she seemed pleased with my comment, but she did not elaborate on it or attempt to make more of it than it warranted. Was this restaurant, the Red Devil, a big restaurant or small?
Oh, it's a big restaurant, family owned.
Family owned. And did they have live bands?
Had 25 plus piece.
And did you have a dance floor there?
And a small dance floor there.
And did you dance there?
Yeah, I danced for yeah.
That's interesting, yeah. I asked her what she was like doing. She exclaimed she liked meeting people, and the part of it was interesting and intriguing, but for the rest of it was boring and routine. And if she did not have Rosalie and Agnes to break up the day, she would not know what she would do. She did not want to do this particular things for the rest of her life, like Agnes, who unfortunately was related to doing just that. In many ways, she emphasized with Agnes being alone with her mother and nothing to look forward to. This touched a tender nerve as far as I was concerned, but I did not pursue the thought any further, and she went on to other subjects. She talked a bit more about her parents and how they fussed during Christmas and Easter, and what a big thing it was for them when they were smaller. She mentioned her trip to New York City a few years back with her cousin, and how strange and exciting it all was, but she had no desire to return. Did you go to New York City?
No.
You?
No.
Were you ever in New York City?
I am. I went for on vacation, yeah.
Would you ever want to move there?
No.
No.
That's rough.
Rough, yeah. Rough. Probably a lot worse now, 80 years later.
Yeah.
Yeah. She liked the city of Buffalo, and it felt like home, and it was filled with memories of her early childhood and growing up in its environment. I listened to her with great admiration and interest, for as I listened, I was forming a mental picture of a lovely, warm person with no great material advantage bestowed upon her, but in the same instance was not at all bitter or delusion in not receiving that advantage. She accepted her fate with reservation, but was not possessed with the great burning desire to rectify its shortcomings. I was also impressed with her spontaneous actions with no prodding on my part. It was enlightening, and I felt that I knew her much better and liked her all the more. Delphine never asked questions regarding me, and I thought that was strange. So Delphine never asked anything about your life?
No.
About your personal life?
No.
That's something. That's maybe for the best. Even though I would have gladly answered any of her questions, which was strange in itself. We had finished our dinner and walked back to the car. I took her hand and told her she was an exceptional person, as well as charming and beautiful. She was a little flustered at my remarks, but otherwise took them graciously and quickly changed the subject. We drove out Main Street, past University of Buffalo, out beyond Edwardsville and Schneider, all while taking and listening to one another and enjoying all of it. I felt relaxed and at ease. Delphine moved closer to me, where once again my whiffs of her perfume would entrap me and set my thoughts trailing onto other matters. Before I realized we're almost at the transit road, so engrossed in conversation with each other, I completely lost touch of our location. We were in Williamsville. How was Williamsville back then?
Small little town.
Was it nice?
Well, small little village, yeah.
Yeah. Just before Transit Road, when I spotted a small nightclub to the right of us.
5 minutes.
I pulled into the parking lot and asked Delphine if she'd care to dance a while before we headed back to her home. She agreed and entered the establishment. It was rather small but warm and cozy, with a small circular dance floor. There was a 3 or 4 piece band playing, to the right. As they played, the small crowd inside paid little attention to them. We were seated at one of the tables sprinkled about, and enclosing the dance floor, I ordered a scotch and water for myself, and Delphine reluctantly had a glass of white wine. She stated that she did not normally drink and felt awkward doing it now. I agreed with her, and I also did not drink, but said that when you're in places such as this, you're almost expected to drink something. She agreed, and I asked her if she would care to dance. As we approached the dance floor, and as I followed her, what kind of dancer was Delphine?
Good dancer, he was a good dancer, yeah.
What kind of dances did you do?
We did a foxtrot and once in a while a jitterbug, but not much.
Weren't you a dance instructor?
Who?
Were you a dance
Yeah, I
instructor?
was a dance instructor, Arthur Murray, yeah.
Arthur Murray. And that's on Main Street in Buffalo also.
Yeah,
I could not help noticing her alluring figure. Let's see here. We began to dance and it felt natural to hold her closely and feel her touch her body next to mine. She was relaxed and composed, enjoying the closeness. We would dance several numbers, then sit out the next 2 or 3 and just talk and listen to one another. I must have had at least 3 drinks of scotch and water, for I could feel the effect. Gradually a warm glow came over me. I imagined Delphine had a little of the same effect, for she was having the same number of glasses of wine. I could see her cheeks were becoming somewhat flushed, and she was completely relaxed and tranquil. We danced a bit more, and it was getting late, so we decided to leave, and we had completed the last dance. Getting back to the table,
Just under 3 minutes.
Huh?
3 minutes.
Getting back to the table, Delphine excused herself and retreated to the powder room. I felt like old times once again, and I thought of Anne, Renee, and Jean when they also went to the powder room prior to our leaving. Delphine returned shortly, appearing glowing radiant, with all her cheeks aglow to the sensuous lips of the same hue. I took her hand, we walked to the car, and its blazing lights displayed the words Colonial Inn in assorted flashing lights. We entered the car and it was somewhat dark outside. In the area we had parked, I turned down toward Delphine and put my arms around her, and I began to kiss her. She responded warmly and embraced and kissed, and there were a mere sense of perception there would be something wonderful to come out of our relationship, and once for all it would not elude me. When you dropped Delphine off, did her mother and father angry that she was past midnight?
yeah,
Was her parents angry or no problem?
yeah.
Delphine's parents, did they accept her coming in late?
Well, 12 o'clock wasn't that late. That wasn't 3 or 4
But her
o'clock.
parents didn't give her any trouble.
No, they didn't say anything. They were sleeping and she just walked in quietly with the bed.
But your mother
My mother.
gave you trouble.
Yeah, my mother shafted me, yeah.
But after a while, all that stopped, right?
Yeah,
She got to know that you weren't leaving.
yeah.
Yeah. It's
Well, then my mother took to Delphine.
Yeah, but still, before Delphine, got married, your mother would get very angry with you, and then an hour or 2 later, your younger brother would come in
Yeah,
and never said anything.
no,
Yeah,
that was lucky, yeah.
yeah.
When mom would get mad, then she would try to make up and say, "Come on, Johnny, have a cup of coffee."
Yeah, when your mother would get mad and try to make up with you, she'd say, "Come on in, Johnny, let's have a cup of coffee."
Yeah, knock on the door, yeah.
Yeah, so your mother was always trying to make up.
Yeah,
She was always trying to make up minutes.
40 seconds.
So that turned out to be a wonderful relationship. And then when you got married to Delphine Stulak, your mother and Delphine were like 2 peas in a
well,
pod.
luckily we had 2 stores. We lived upstairs.
Yeah, but didn't your mother and Delphine get along? They got along greatly, didn't they? They
Yeah.
really, they got along greatly, didn't they?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
that's
but she didn't know how to cook, and then Delphine, my mother taught her how to cook.
your mother taught
Yeah,
Delphine to
that's
cook.
good.
Started
10
the
seconds.
relationship up good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, that is so interesting.
7 seconds. Yeah, that was good. Alrighty.